There is a specific frequency of silence that exists only in the homes of the poor. It is not the peaceful silence of a library or a meditation retreat. It is a heavy, pressurized silence. It is the silence of a parent sitting at the kitchen table at 2 a.m, staring at a stack of envelopes that they cannot open because opening them makes the debt real. It is the silence of a child lying awake in the next room, holding their breath, listening to the murmurs of an argument about rent, knowing that their existence is the most expensive thing in the house. We talk about poverty in economics. We talk about it in politics. We look at graphs and Gini coefficients and poverty lines, but we rarely talk about the phenomenology of poverty. We do not have a language for what it does to the texture of time, to the architecture of the brain, and to the human soul. To grow up poor is to be inducted into a secret society that no one wants to join. It is a reality that runs parallel to the normal world, separated by a pane of glass that is invisible to the wealthy but impenetrable to you. We need to talk about the poverty tax, and I don't mean the extra fees on late payments, though those are real. I mean the cognitive tax. For the person who grows up with money, the world is a series of choices. For the person who grows up poor, the world is a series of math problems. From the moment you are old enough to understand the concept of currency, you become a mathematician. You do not walk into a grocery store and see food. You see numbers floating above every item. You are constantly calculating. If we get the milk, we cannot get the cereal. If we buy the good bread, we have to skip the bus fare. You learn the price per ounce. You learn to weigh the weight of a potato in your hand before you put it on the scale. This mental arithmetic never stops. It runs in the background of your mind like a corrupt software program, eating up your processing power. This is why you are tired. This is why you are anxious. While the other children are thinking about cartoons or games, you are thinking about the longevity of your shoes. You are looking at the soles, praying they hold out for another 3 months, because you know, you feel it in your gut, that there is no budget for new ones. This creates a fundamental shift in how you view the world. You learn very early that the world is scarce. The child of plenty learns that resources are like air, abundant, invisible, always there. If they spill the milk, it is a mess to be cleaned. The poor child learns that resources are like water in a desert. If they spill the milk, it is a tragedy. It is a waste of money. It is a source of shame. You see the flash of panic in your mother's eyes before she masks it with anger. You learn that mistakes are expensive. You learn that clumsy is dangerous. And so, you become careful. You become small. You learn to move through your own house without knocking things over, without consuming too much. You learn to eat quickly. You learn to hide your needs. When the teacher asks for money for a field trip, you don't ask your parents. You lose the slip. You pretend you don't want to go. You tell your friends, "That sounds boring." You become a master of disguise. You construct a persona of indifference to cover the reality of lack. This is the great performance of the poor child. You are constantly acting. You are trying to pass. You study the middle-class kids, the way they dress, the snacks they bring, the way they talk about their weekends, and you mimic them. But you are always terrified of being found out. You are terrified of the tell. Maybe it's the clothes. You know the difference between the brand name and the knockoff, even if you pretend you don't. You know that your jeans have been washed too many times, that the colour is fading in a way that signals second hand. Maybe it's the smell. There is a specific scent to poverty. It is the smell of a house that cannot be properly ventilated in the winter because you are saving on heat. It is the smell of dampness. It is the smell of cheap laundry detergent. You become hyper-aware of your own hygiene, scrubbing yourself raw, terrified that you carry the scent of the struggle on your skin. And then there is the noise. Poverty is loud. Wealth is quiet. Wealth buys space. It buys distance from neighbours. It buys thick walls and double-paned windows. Poverty is the sound of the couple fighting next door. It is the sound of the siren wailing down the block. It is the sound of the television that is always on because it is the cheapest babysitter and the only escape. You never truly feel alone, and you never truly feel at peace. Your nervous system is perpetually dialed up to a 7 or an 8, waiting for the next crisis. This is what we mean when we say that poverty is trauma. It is a state of chronic hyper-vigilance. You learn to read the atmosphere of the house the moment you walk through the door. Is mum crying? Is dad silent? Is the electricity still on? You develop the sensory acuity of a soldier in hostile territory. You can tell by the heaviness of the footsteps in the hall whether it is a good money week or a bad money week. And you learn that money is not just currency, it is a shield against humiliation. Think of the lunchroom, the transaction of the free lunch ticket, or the generic brand chips. Children are tribal, and they punish difference. The poor child learns that their poverty is a moral failing. You feel that it is somehow your fault. If you were just better, maybe you would have the Nikes. Maybe you would have the Lunchables. So you enter the great compensation. Just as the unattractive child learns to be funny, the poor child learns to be useful. You become the adult in the room. You are 10 years old, but you know how to balance a checkbook. You know how to cook dinner with 3 ingredients. You know how to lie to the landlord. You become the parentified child. You take on the emotional burden of the household. You try to be low maintenance. You never ask for toys. You never ask for help with homework because you know your parents are exhausted from working double shifts. You learn to self-soothe. You learn to be an island. I don't need anything becomes your mantra. I'm fine, but beneath that I'm fine is a hunger. Not just a physical hunger, though that is often there, but a hunger for safety, a hunger for the luxury of being irresponsible. You look at the wealthy kids, or even the middle-class kids, and you don't just envy their things. You envy their carelessness. You envy the way they can break an arm and not worry about the medical bill. You envy the way they can fail a class and get a tutor. You envy the safety net. For you, life is a tightrope walk without a net. You know that one wrong step, one accident, one illness, one lost job means falling into the abyss. And the abyss is homelessness. The abyss is hunger. The abyss is the separation of the family. This fear sinks into the marrow of your bones. It changes your relationship with the future. For the wealthy, the future is a promise. It is a destination to be planned. They talk about careers, investments, legacy. For the poor, the future is a threat. It is a looming storm. You do not plan for 5 years from now. You plan for Friday. You plan for the end of the month. You live in the tyranny of the immediate. This is why the poor are often accused of making bad long-term decisions. Why did you buy that expensive TV when you can't pay rent? The critics ask. They do not understand the psychology of the foxhole. When you live in a constant state of deprivation, the brain screams for a dopamine hit. It screams for one nice thing, one moment of feeling normal, one moment of ownership. Buying that TV isn't a financial investment. It is a mental health intervention. It is a desperate attempt to claim a small piece of dignity in a life that strips it away. And let's talk about the body, the poverty body. We talk about the look of poverty, but we don't talk about the pain of it. The dental pain, the dull ache of a tooth that needed a root canal 3 years ago, but you learned to just chew on the other side. The stomach issues from a diet of processed, shelf-stable foods because fresh produce is too expensive and spoils too fast. The cortisol bloating. You learn to treat your body like a rental car that you don't care about returning. You ignore the warning lights. You drive it into the ground because you cannot afford the mechanic. I'll go to the doctor when it gets bad, you say. But bad keeps getting redefined. You tolerate levels of pain and discomfort that would send a wealthy person to the emergency room immediately. This creates a high pain tolerance, yes, but it also creates a dissociation. You separate yourself from your physical vessel. You live in your head because the body is just another bill you can't pay. Then comes adolescence, and the gap widens into a canyon. This is where the class divide becomes social apartheid. The markers of status become undeniable. The car you drive or don't drive, the vacations you take or don't take, the college applications. You watch your peers go on college tours. You watch them take SAT prep courses. You watch them discuss safety schools. And you are filling out the FAFSA forms alone at the kitchen table, trying to understand what adjusted gross income means, terrified that you will fill it out wrong and lose your shot. You realise that for them, college is a rite of passage. For you, it is a desperate gamble. It is a loan that will shackle you for decades. You start to feel the bitterness, the why them and not me. You see the mediocrity of the wealthy. You see the kid who is half as smart as you, half as hard-working, but who gets the internship because his father knows the CEO. You see the fail upwards dynamic. You realise that the game is rigged. You realise that meritocracy is a fairy tale told to poor people to keep them working. The elevator to success is broken. You have to take the stairs, and the stairs are covered in grease, and there are people at the top throwing rocks down at you. This is the phase of anger, and it is a righteous anger. You hate the system. You hate the casual arrogance of those who have never had to count pennies. You hate the way they waste food. You hate the way they complain about first world problems. Oh, the Wi-Fi is slow, they complain, and you want to scream, I didn't have heat last week. But you swallow the scream, because you learned a long time ago that anger is a luxury you cannot afford. If the poor person gets angry, they are unstable, they are aggressive, they are trash. So you cultivate the stoicism of a stone, and if you are lucky, if you work 10 times as hard, if you get the scholarship, if you get the job, you enter the professional world. And here, you encounter the strangest beast of all. Imposter syndrome on steroids. You walk into the office, the law firm, the tech company, and you feel like a spy. You are wearing the suit, but you feel like a child playing dress-up. You are terrified that they will smell the poverty on you. You don't know the codes. You don't know how to play golf. You don't know the difference between a Pinot Noir and a Merlot. You don't have the stories about summer camp in Maine or skiing in the Alps. When the colleagues talk about their weekends, you stay silent. You nod, you smile, you engage in what sociologists call passing. But the anxiety is always there. You are hoarding money now. Even if you have a good salary, you live like you are broke. You check your bank account 5 times a day. You are terrified that it is a glitch. You are terrified that the rug will be pulled out. You have bag lady syndrome. You look at the homeless person on the street and you don't see a stranger. You see a version of yourself that took a left turn instead of a right. You know how thin the line is, and this makes you unfun. It makes you intense. You cannot relax. You cannot just go with the flow, because for you, the flow leads to the drain. You become a workaholic. You work harder than anyone else because you are driven by the whip of fear. You are the first one in and the last one out. You are trying to build a fortress of money so high that the poverty can't climb over it. But no matter how much money you make, the poverty mentality stays. You struggle to spend money on yourself. You will buy nice things for your partner, for your children, but when you buy a nice coat for yourself, you feel a physical wave of nausea. You feel guilty. You hear your mother's voice asking, "Do you really need that?" You have trouble throwing things away. You keep the broken toaster. You keep the old cables. You keep the plastic bags. Because what if? What if I need it? What if I can't afford a new one? Your home becomes a museum of scarcity. However, just as with the unattractive person, there is a pivot point here. There is a territory on the other side of the trauma. Because you have walked through the fire, you are fireproof. Let us talk about the specific, diamond-hard strength of the person who grew up poor. First, you have no delusions. You know exactly how the world works. You have seen the machinery without the casing. You know that money is not morality. You know that systems fail. You are not naive. While the wealthy fall apart when the Wi-Fi goes down or the flight is delayed, you are unflappable. You have showered in cold water. You have slept on floors. You have walked miles because the car broke down. A delayed flight is nothing to you. A minor inconvenience is a joke. You have a resilience that cannot be taught in a seminar. It is etched into your nervous system. You are the MacGyver of life. Give a poor kid a roll of duct tape and a broken situation, and they will fix it. You learned resourcefulness before you learned to read. You know how to stretch a meal. You know how to negotiate. You know how to make do. This makes you dangerous in the best way. In a crisis, the wealthy look for someone to call. The poor look for a tool. You are the one who acts, and you have a specific kind of empathy, a high-resolution empathy for the invisible people. When you walk into a restaurant, you don't just see the menu, you see the waiter with the tired eyes, you see the busboy, you see the struggle. You treat the janitor with the same respect as the CEO, not out of performative virtue, but because you know. You know that the janitor might be working 2 other jobs. You know that the waitress's feet are bleeding. You are not impressed by status. You are not impressed by the shiny car or the expensive watch. You know that those things are often costumes. You look for the character. You value the real things. When you grow up with nothing, you learn to find joy in the spaces between the bills. You learn to laugh in the dark. The humour of the poor is the best humour in the world. It is dark, it is sharp, and it is absolutely fearless. It is the humour of the trenches. It is the laughter that says, "You can starve me, you can freeze me, but you cannot break me." You have deep, ride or die friendships. When you are poor, your friends are your insurance policy. You rely on each other. I have $20, you have a car, let's make it work. You share the burden. You know who will actually show up when the chips are down. You don't have fair weather friends, because you never had the fair weather. And if you manage to escape the gravity well, if you make money, you have the capacity to be the cycle breaker. This is a profound spiritual weight. You are the one who changes the trajectory of your lineage. You are the one who ensures that your children will not know the sound of the silence in the kitchen. But you must be careful not to insulate them too much. You want them to have your strength without your scars. This is the delicate dance of the first generation wealthy. But let's go deeper into the soul of this experience. There is a freedom in having been at the bottom. The person who has always been on top lives in constant fear of falling. They are terrified of losing their status. They are terrified of the unknown. You know the bottom. You have mapped it. You know that it is cold and hard, but you also know that it is not fatal. You know that you can survive it. This gives you a risk tolerance that the wealthy pretend to have, but rarely do. You can bet on yourself. You can walk away from a bad job. You can start that business. Because the worst case scenario, being broke, is a language you already speak fluently. You are not afraid of the dark. You were born in it. You strip away the superficiality of consumerism. You know that stuff doesn't fix the hole in the soul. You watch the rich people on TV look miserable in their mansions. You know that happiness is not a purchase, it is a connection. It is a meal shared with people you love. It is the safety of a locked door. It is the quiet of a paid bill. You appreciate the boring. To someone who grew up in chaos, a boring life is the ultimate luxury. A full fridge, a quiet Sunday, a car that starts every time. These are not mundane to you, they are miracles. You never lose that sense of wonder at the basic functionality of life. You wake up every day and you turn on the tap and hot water comes out, and a small part of you whispers, "Magic." You act as the anchor for others. In a world that is increasingly fragile, increasingly anxious, you are the granite. You are the one who says, "We will figure this out." Because you have figured out worse. But you must address the ghost. You must address the scarcity mindset that still haunts you. You have to tell that terrified child inside you, it's okay, there is food, we are safe, you can buy the boots. You have to learn to exhale. You have to learn that you are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to have nice things. You are not an imposter. You earned your seat at the table. In fact, you earned it twice. You earned it by doing the work, and you earned it by overcoming the obstacle course just to get to the starting line. You have to forgive your parents. This is the hardest part. You have to realize that they were not monsters. They were drowning. The anger, the neglect, the silence, it wasn't about you. It was the stress. It was the poverty talking. They were fighting a war with no weapons. And you have to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the shame you felt. Forgive yourself for the times you lied to fit in. Forgive yourself for the survival mechanisms that you don't need anymore. You are the alchemist. You have turned lead into gold. You have taken the heavy, suffocating lead of poverty, the fear, the restriction, the shame, and you have transmuted it into the gold of character. You have a depth that the surface skimmers will never understand. You have a gravity. Think of the tree that grows on the cliffside. The wind batters it. The soil is thin. The rain runs off. It twists and turns, its roots clawing into the rock. It is not the straight, symmetrical pine tree in the protected valley. It is gnarled. It is strange. But its wood is denser. Its roots are stronger. If a storm comes, the pine tree in the valley might snap. The cliffside tree will not move. It has become part of the mountain. You are the cliffside tree. The world needs you. It doesn't need more people who have never known a struggle. It doesn't need more people who think a credit card is a magic wand. It needs people who know the value of $1, the value of a promise, and the value of a human being stripped of all their possessions. It needs people who can look at the homeless man and see a brother, and look at the CEO and see a peer and treat them both with the exact same level of dignity. You have that power. So when the anxiety comes, when you check your bank account for the third time today, when you feel that old pang of, I don't belong here, stop. Look at your hands. They are the hands of a survivor. Look at your life. You built it. You built it out of scraps. You built it out of no. You built it out of silence. And now you have a voice. Use it. Not to complain, but to illuminate. To tell the truth about what it costs to be poor, and to tell the truth about what it means to be rich. True wealth is not the number in the bank. That is just leverage. True wealth is the absence of fear. True wealth is the knowledge that you can lose it all and you will still be you. You will still be the mathematician, the actor, the survivor, the rock. You have walked through the desert and found the water. Drink it. You deserve it. And then, if you can, leave a map for the ones coming behind you, because the desert is still there, and there are millions of children walking into it right now, wondering if they are invisible, wondering if they matter. You are the proof that they do. You are the proof that the silence can be broken. You are the proof that a human being is not defined by what they lack, but by what they generate from the nothingness. You are the creator. You are the architect of your own rescue. Stand tall in that. Wear your history not as a stain, but as a medal. The world is soft. You are hard, and that is a good thing to be. Let's go deeper into the math of survival, because this is the bedrock of the psyche. It's not just about money, it's about time. Poverty steals time. This is the time tax. If you have money, you buy time. You pay someone to fix your car. You pay someone to do your taxes. You take the direct flight. If you are poor, you pay with time. You fix the car yourself, watching YouTube videos in the freezing driveway for 6 hours because you can't afford the mechanic. You take the bus, which takes 3 transfers and 2 hours to get to a job that is a 20-minute drive away. You wait in line at the laundromat. You wait in line at the free clinic. Your life is a series of waiting rooms. This creates a specific relationship with patience. The poor are incredibly patient with systems, yet incredibly impatient with results. You learn to wait, but you burn with the desire for speed. And let's talk about the bandwidth tax. Psychologists have found that poverty literally lowers your IQ while you are in it. Not because you are stupid, but because your brain is running a background process called survival that takes up 40% of your RAM. You are trying to solve a complex problem at work, but part of your brain is calculating if the gas in the tank will get you home. You are trying to listen to your partner, but part of your brain is remembering that the rent is due in 4 days and you are short. This constant cognitive load makes you forgetful. It makes you irritable. It makes you make bad decisions. When the wealthy person forgets to pay a bill, it's oops. When the poor person forgets, it's a disaster. It's a late fee that triggers an overdraft fee that triggers a declined card at the grocery store. It is a domino effect of ruin. So you become obsessive. You check everything 3 times. You develop a kind of OCD around logistics. And then there is the health paradox. You know you should eat healthy. You read the articles, but broccoli goes bad in 3 days. Pasta lasts for 3 years. The healthy choice is a risk. The unhealthy choice is a guarantee. You are buying calories per dollar. You are buying fullness. You know you should exercise, but you have been standing on your feet for 10 hours at a job that requires physical labour. The last thing you want to do is go for a run. Your body is not a gym project. It is a tool that is being worn down. and the sleep. The sleep of the poor is different. It is light. It is easily broken. It is the sleep of the prey animal. You hear every noise. You wake up with your jaw clenched. Now, consider the social dynamics, the networking gap. The wealthy get jobs through networks. Oh, call my uncle, he needs someone. The poor get jobs through applications. You are throwing resumes into a black hole. You have no uncle. You have no connection. You are relying entirely on the merit of your paper in a world that runs on the grease of handshakes. This makes you cynical about connections. You view it as nepotism. You view it as unfair, and it is. But you also learn to build your own network, a horizontal network. I know a guy who can fix tires. I know a lady who does hair cheap. I know a cousin who can get you a discount on paint. You build a barter economy, a favour economy. This is a tighter bond than any corporate LinkedIn connection. It is based on mutual survival. And we must speak about the dream gap. When you are a wealthy child, you are asked, what do you want to be? And the answers are astronauts, artists, inventors. You are told to follow your passion. When you are a poor child, you are told to get a good job. Passion is a hobby. Work is for money. You don't dream of being an artist. You dream of being a dental hygienist because it has benefits. You dream of the post office because it has a pension. You truncate your own ambition to fit the size of your safety net. This is the tragedy of lost talent. How many geniuses are currently working the night shift at a warehouse? How many poets are driving trucks? How many scientists are scrubbing floors? We will never know, because they didn't have the luxury of failing. To be an artist, you need a period of time where you make no money and make bad art. The poor cannot afford that period. They need to make money now. So the world loses their contribution, the silence we spoke of at the beginning. It is also the silence of the songs that were never written and the inventions that were never made, because the creator was too busy trying to survive. But let's flip the lens again. Let's look at the authenticity of the poor. There is a lack of pretense that is refreshing. When you have nothing to hide, you hide nothing. You see this in the way people talk. The language is more direct. It is more colourful. It is not wrapped in the euphemisms of the corporate class. If someone is a jerk, you call them a jerk. You don't say they are challenging to work with. There is a raw honesty in the interactions. You can skip the small talk. You can get straight to the real stuff. How are you? I'm broke and my back hurts. Yeah, me too. There is a solidarity in that suffering. And consider the appreciation of the moment. When a wealthy person goes on vacation, they spend the whole time critiquing the service. The hotel wasn't right. The food was cold. They are miserable in paradise. When a poor person gets a break, a real break, it is pure bliss. A day at the beach with a cooler of sandwiches, that is heaven. You savour every second of the sun. You taste every bite of the sandwich. You are fully present because you know this is rare. You suck the marrow out of the bone of the experience. You have a capacity for joy that is unburdened by expectation. And what about creativity? Constraint breeds creativity. If you have an unlimited budget, you solve problems with money. If you have zero budget, you solve problems with imagination. The poor invented the best music, blues, jazz, hip-hop. The poor invented the best food, BBQ, soul food, the best stews and curries, all created from the waste cuts of meat and cheap grains. Culture is created at the bottom and stolen by the top. You are the generator of culture. You are the source. You made something out of nothing. You took the scraps and made a feast. You took the pain and made a rhythm. That is a divine power. That is the act of creation. So how do you integrate this as you move forward? If you are one of the ones who made it out, you live in the in-between. You are a class straddler. You don't fully fit in with your old friends. They think you've changed, or they ask for money, or they feel uncomfortable around your new success. And you don't fully fit in with your new peers. They don't get your jokes. They don't understand your fears. They think you are too intense. You are a translator. You speak both languages. You have a responsibility to bridge that gap, to not pull up the ladder. But you also have a responsibility to heal the wound in yourself. You need to stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. You need to look around your living room, at the furniture you bought, at the life you constructed, and say, "This is mine. I am safe." You need to allow yourself to be soft. The armor was necessary. The cynicism was a shield. The hyper-vigilance was a survival tool. But you are out of the war zone now. You can put down the rifle. It is scary to put down the rifle. You feel naked without it. You feel that the moment you relax, the enemy will attack. But there is no enemy. There is just life, and you have prepared for it better than anyone. You have the Granite Core. Remember the silence we started with? The heavy, suffocating blanket? You can turn that silence into peace. You can sit in your own home, in the quiet, and instead of hearing the roar of debt, you can hear the sound of your own breath. You can hear the wind outside. You can hear the absence of the wolf at the door. That silence is your trophy. You won. You didn't just survive, you transcended. You are the deep sea diver who came back up. Your lungs are strong, your eyes can see in the dark, and you know, deep down, that the surface is just a thin layer. The real world, the deep world, the world of survival and truth, that is where you are from, and that makes you unbreakable. The economy might crash, the job might disappear, the world might catch fire. The wealthy will panic, they will jump out of windows, they will not know what to do when the Uber doesn't come. But you will look at the chaos and you will shrug. You will say, "I've been here before. I know how to cook with nothing. I know how to stay warm. I know how to survive." And you will set to work, because you are not a victim of the world. You are a master of it. You are the ones who know the secret, that everything can be taken away. The house, the car, the money. But what you became in the process of getting them cannot be taken away. Your grit is yours. Your resourcefulness is yours. Your soul is yours. And that is enough. That is more than enough.